Well, hold on, Lindsey. You got to give the toll-free number out.
Say again?
Give the number out again.
Okay, the number is 888-799-6111. No one has ever gotten this material before. This Alex Jones show is the first one I've ever been on. The first. 888-799-6111. 7 operators standing by. Please, my new 3 DVDs we did in studio in Kansas City this past week. Now, here's the content. Within 2 years, and he gives everything. Alex, I'm going to give you one expression, and we'll elaborate on this, too, later in this week. He kept using the expression, the devil's Messiah. Now, I know this oh, my goodness, Alex, they have manipulated the churches as well as the pastors of America.
Hold on, Lindsey. You just dropped a bomb on me. Everything else you said we can see unfolding, and I believe he told you this. This guy then talked about the devil's Messiah with you?
This man I was stunned.
What? No wonder you're shaking. I've never, listen, folks, I'm talking to Lindsey during the break. His voice is shaking. You've never acted like this. What else did you learn? What the hell's going on here? Excuse me.
Well, yeah, and that's exactly right, too. Just what you word. The word you use is exactly what's going to be going on. 2 years, you will not recognize America. They're working through the pastors. They're working through the churches. When I get into this, I'm going to have to shame some pastors now. I have been a minister for 50 years. I'm 73 years of age. And, Alex, this man went into the subject, the devil's Messiah, the pastors of America and the churches, and how they're working through Homeland Security in relation to the deception of the pastors and the churches for pulling the people in. And he went on to talk about within 2 years they'll be able to fulfill everything they want to do, and that the elite have altered their timeline to the point they feel that they have completely got it made.
Stay there, Lindsey, long segment. I want you to just get those notes, read us the bullet points, and then we'll go back to the beginning, back to the Antichrist part. Stay with us, folks. We'll be right back. The illusion created by the... By the way, we have David Ray Griffin on tomorrow debunking the 9/11 debunkers, going over all the huge new developments on 9/11. But from 11:30 to 1, in the first 2 hours tomorrow, we're going to have part 2 of this. It's clear this information is too powerful. I believe that this high-level globalist, and I happen to know who it is, Lindsey didn't break his promise. I've been interviewing him so long, I know who the 3 CEOs were that he mentioned by name earlier from the oil companies he worked at and for, and so then I've narrowed it down. But the point is that this is fitting in with all the other Bilderberg info we have. I believed Lindsey when he called and said he had inside knowledge 2 years ago, almost 2 years ago, more than a year and a half ago, that it would go up to, oil would go down to $50 a barrel and stay there for a year. And it did that. Incredible prediction. No one saw that coming. But then I noticed in our own Bilderberg coverage, it was a footnote from Jim Tucker and a footnote from Daniel Estelin that inside sources said Bilderberg was going to cut oil in half from 150 to below 70. That happened. So, again, people ask, how do I know what's credible? How do I know what's not? Well, number one, has somebody been accurate over and over again? Yes. Number two, does it fit in with all the other intel I have? Yes. Now, could they alter something maybe down the road if we get involved, if we speak up, if we say no? But America has capitulated. The United States has given in to tyranny. And once they know you've capitulated and will put up with anything, then that's when the real tyranny starts. All the tyranny and corruption we've seen is only the beginning. I was just shown a video of police in Milwaukee. A guy on a bike, the police say stop, try to taser him. The guy gets scared. The police run him over in the car, killing him, admitting they wanted to kill him. And then the police are heroes on the news. That's pure evil. Just like they rubber bullet people to death and they killed a guy in Seattle last year. The guy just comes outside from a store. They think he's another suspect. They come over. He gets scared by the cop, kind of turns. The cop knocks him up, hits the ground, kills him. The cops are on the TV saying, we don't care. We didn't do anything wrong. They've dehumanized us, and the police themselves are dehumanized. But, I mean, they just murder this guy and don't care. Stormtroopers of death, ladies and gentlemen. And I know the average cop is an evil person in and of themselves, but the mantle, the system, the training. Anyway, side issue. It's just God help us all. We are an evil nation. We are now being brought to judgment. Now, Lindsey Williams, you've always been credible, and I believe that this high-level retired executive who's almost died recently did spill his guts to you. Charlotte Iserby was the number 2 at Department of Education. She said they were planning year-round schooling a decade ago on this show. Everything she said is now coming true. She wrote a book the size of a Dallas phone book that we sell, by the way, Deliberate Dumbing Down of America, and it's mainly just documents. So I know this is their plan. Just like I read, they plan to ban most air travel. It's now mainstream news today. I knew they had face scanning and license plate reading stuff 12 years ago. Now it's mainstream news. So Charlotte Iserby's father, he was Skull and Bones and Bohemian Grove and always kind of laughed at her and her anti-New World Order stance. She was taking care of him while he was dying of cancer. And he would hear her doing radio interviews. And about a month before he died, he accepted Jesus. I know people don't like to hear this, but this is what got him to come out of his situation. And he cried and said, yes, basically, it's Satanism, and repented. And said, I wish I was well to go back and tell the other guys that they shouldn't be part of this. And I want to tell the police that. You've got time to turn back, but you are the army of Satan now. I mean, you, even if you don't believe in God, this is satanic. This is evil. What else do you call it? Now, Lindsey, I'm going to shut up because I got a few other things I got to cover, too. I said I'd intersperse some news. But you're back tomorrow. Thank God for that. But just do this. Go over the bullet points quickly. Then they got page after page, a prelude for tomorrow. But then go back to this guy saying how they've taken over the churches and the devil's, what was the term he used? The devil's...
Devil's Messiah.
The devil's Messiah. So and at the elite level, they're all into Luciferianism. There's no doubt. I mean, that's been in their own documents. This is so insane, but it's real. Continue.
Alex, and everybody out there in the listening audience, there positively, I must emphasize this, there positively is a group of people on the face of the earth who control the world. You've had Alex say this over and over and over. I'm punctuating it again right now. There's a group of people on the face of the earth who control the world. They are for real. They know what they're doing. They are able to accomplish what they want. They control Congress. They control the president. And by the way, they're having trouble with this president. Whenever I think I'll probably save that for tomorrow. They did want McCain as president. And, you know, I said that last year, and then somebody afterwards said, no, they didn't get McCain in. They really flubbed up, didn't they? Well, they did, and they didn't. You know, they're not divine. They think they are, but they aren't. And when they didn't get McCain in, they're having trouble. And this gentleman went on to tell me the trouble they're having with Mr. Obama. And they had some choice words. Oh, my gracious, I'd shake in my shoes if I was Mr. Obama right now, because the elite don't like his arrogance, pride, and some of the other things he's doing. Okay, let's get back to this. They do exist. This man told me what they're doing. You're right about the other gentleman who, on his deathbed, said, don't follow these people. They're positively Satanist. One of the first things I learned when I lived with the elite years ago was to listen to their buzzwords. I'd like to read you a few buzzwords that this man used, and I want you to quickly, in your mind, think, what is the very first thing you think about whenever I give you these buzzwords? Now, these are his exact statements, and whenever I read you his buzzwords, I know how to understand them because I learned years ago to read between the lines, listen to their buzzwords, and then know what they're talking about. Okay, I'm going to read you his buzzwords, word for word, and then the first thing that pops in your mind that you think these buzzwords mean. Here goes. Number one, war brought the country out of the Depression. The second buzzword, turmoil in the Middle East 2 years from now. The next buzzword, Iran's external enemy, Israel. I wrote these down as he was saying them. Another buzzword, Crude oil will stay $70 to $50 until the next crisis in the Middle East. The next buzzword, nearly everyone will be working for the government. Now, what's the first thing that pops into your mind when you hear something like that?
Communism.
Yeah. I mean, total control and war. War. Listen to this. War brought the country out of the first one. Turmoil in the Middle East. Iran's external enemy, Israel. Crude oil, stay there until the Middle East crisis, and they already have it planned. You remember back 2 years ago, Alex, and I said this on your show. He said, we don't want war with Iran.